Hello and welcome to episode 73 of the Disney Park Princess podcast. I'm your co-host, Sara.
I'm Sharla.
And I'm Heather.
And we are all just back from our different Disney trips. Sharla and I were in Walt Disney World and Heather went to Disneyland. We're going to be talking about the top 3 things that we each learned on this most recent trip. So this isn't going to be like, we're not going to go over every detail of our trip. It's not a trip recap. If you want to know what we did on our trips, we did lots of live videos and recorded videos and things in the Disney Park Princess Facebook group. So join there. You can follow along and see what we did. We did all kinds of fun stuff. But we are going to talk about just sort of our top 3 takeaways from our most recent trips. So I'm going to get to all of that in just a minute. But first, I'd rather be there right now. Let's just be clear. How about you guys? Are you happy to be home? Sad to be home?
I'm happy to be home. It was a crazy long whirlwind of a weekend, so it's nice to be home and just kind of be back in my routine.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I'm happy to be home because I leave again. It's very soon.
Yeah.
So.
You're only happy to be home because you're going on a cruise in a few days.
That's true. That's true.
We're not going to count you. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about some of the news that happened while we were away. Sharla and I were sort of at the epicenter of a couple of sort of breaking news stories at
chaos.
Disney World.
Yes.
So let's talk about the Jungle Cruise.
So no, we were not on the boat. In case you did not hear, a Jungle Cruise boat started to sink.
Well, it did sink.
Well, it did sink. As much as, well, I say started to because that water is not that deep, so it's not going to really go anywhere. But it sank. I am unclear how. I don't think that was ever released, but we saw lots of photos of people standing on the center crates, and they were definitely wet.
Yes, there was lots of video and footage of people's feet in the water and things. So, ew.
I don't know. My first reaction to it was just to laugh. I couldn't stop laughing. Like, I don't know why I found it funny, but I thought it was hysterical.
We were once we knew everybody was okay, we were howling. Like it was just so funny. It struck us so funny. Because it's the water's this deep. Like it's not.
It's not very deep.
My favorite thing I saw, I don't know if you guys saw it because you were there, but on Facebook in one of my groups, somebody had posted, like, when there's like a natural disaster, marked myself safe from the Jungle Cruise today.
Yeah.
I lost it all over again.
We should have done that. We should have marked ourselves safe.
Very funny.
And then 4 hours later, 5 hours later, there was a SWAT incident at the beach club.
So fortunately, that was another thing where nobody was hurt, and it was really just a false alarm. But Disney responded, and I guess their regular protocols, and we could not see it. We were at the boardwalk, which is across the lake, but we could not see anything really from where we were. I couldn't. So
no, we were perfectly content in the club lounge at the boardwalk when it happened. Just fielding text messages and messages from home. So we're fine and enjoying a nightcap. Thank you so much. But it's easy to laugh about them now because everybody's fine. But I do think it demonstrates that Disney's very good at handling these types of crises. Nobody was hurt. Nothing serious was happened. Appropriate responses were taken, at least as far as we can tell, and everybody's A-okay. So I did have to laugh because I did get a text message from my mother. Tell me you weren't on that Jungle Cruise boat that sank. And I said, no, I was on it 2 hours later. She was like, you're kidding, right? And I was like, oh no, it's like literally the next thing we did was go get in line for the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah. So. We had a fast pass for the Jungle Cruise and we missed it because we were, again, trying for Rise of the Resistance. And so that kind of messed with all of our plans. But they were still honoring the old fast passes because they were down. We very well could have been on the boat that sank if we were on time for our fast pass, but we were late. But it was a crazy long line even for fast pass that day. So it was, but it was fun. We had a great skipper.
It was fantastic,
and everybody was in a good mood, ready to. I don't know if they were wanting to see if it would sink again.
I don't know which we were hoping for. Were we hoping it was going to sink, or I don't know, unclear. All right, so we talked about it last week, and the rumors were true. There is a new dining plan. So this is the Disney Dining Plan Plus, I believe we're calling it. So it lands in between the regular Disney Dining Plan and the Deluxe Dining Plan. We're going to do an entire podcast next week about the different dining plans and how to make the most of them. So stay tuned next week for more in-depth detail on that. But just know that it exists and the rumors were true. So, and it's available right away. So it'll be interesting to see if people change. Like if they had originally booked the Disney Dining Plan, if they're now going to switch to this new plan or not. I haven't had any requests for it yet, but
either.
Yeah. No. So we'll see. Okay. Finding Dory. Did you guys see this announcement? The Finding Dory Fantastic.
Oh, yes, the scavenger hunt. I'm all over it. I love a scavenger hunt. I love them.
Yeah. So tell us about it.
Okay, so we had the whole podcast a few weeks ago about why you shouldn't skip Epcot with small kids, and here's another reason. The Seas is fantastic enough anyway for children, but they just announced that they're going to have a scavenger hunt throughout the Seas Pavilion, where you're helping Dory kind of find and remember her little friends from the movies, which I think is fantastic. So you and your kids, you pick up a little sheet and you go all around the pavilion, and they're learning about these fish or the octopus, the starfish, all of that they see in the movies, which I think it's fantastic.
I loved Finding Dory. Anybody else?
Oh, it's very cute. It's very, very cute.
Oh, it is. I almost hesitate to say it, but it's almost, I kind of like it a little better than Finding Nemo.
In some ways I did. Some ways I did. And it's very funny. But the real life mixed with the aquatic life is very good at the center, and it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
It's really good. Heather, you should definitely see it.
Yeah.
No.
Why?
I didn't like Finding Nemo, and this is honestly, this is not a joke. My greatest fear in life is the ocean. Like, it's my number one phobia. I am terrified, and Finding Nemo triggered me so much because it was so realistic that like I sat and cried and hid behind my stuffed animal while watching this in my bedroom. So I will not watch Finding Dory for no reason other than I'm truly afraid. So it's just not for me.
Well, for the most part, they're not in the ocean.
I was about to say, can we fast
aquarium.
forward past the ocean parts? Yeah. Can we just show you the aquarium parts?
Then what's the point? Then you miss half the story. So no, I'm good. I'm out.
All
right. Okay. All right. You're excused, but it's very good. It's very, very good. Yeah. All right. So that's Finding Dory. Onward opens this coming weekend, March 6th. And this made me laugh. So I saw the headline and I was like, that can't be right. There must be like a typo. They must be missing something. There's a photo up for Onward at Disney Springs with one of the main characters, but it's the van.
I don't know. And her name is Guinevere?
Yeah.
Well, isn't it? I mean, I don't know much about this movie other than like they live in a magical world. They're goblins or something like that. So maybe the van's alive. I mean,
I get that sense. Yeah, I get the sense.
If we can buy it in Cars, we can buy it in Onward. I don't know.
And maybe the van is alive, but that has not been the case that I've seen any previews for it. Like, it does not appear that way. But maybe they're appealing to like the hippies of the world. Like, here's your road trip van, and you come and take a picture with it.
I don't know, but it just made me laugh because none of the two main characters that you like, wouldn't you think if you were going to do a photo op? I guess maybe they're waiting to see how the movie does before they pull out the big guns.
Yeah. I've heard the word out here is that this is probably one of the best Pixar movies in a very, very, very long time. Like, it's supposed to be really good.
I'm very excited. I'm going to see it on the cruise next week. I'm very excited.
Fascinating. All right. Yeah. We'll see. Jury's out. I don't know. It might take me a minute to see this one.
It's going to take me a while to get to it too. But the word out here is that it's very, very good. So fingers crossed.
All right. We'll see. And then last but not least, and we can't not talk about this. So we're just going to talk about a little bit coronavirus and how it is impacting Disney parks around the globe. We talked about it a little bit in previous episodes, but it is still not affecting operations of the U.S. theme parks. So we want to be completely clear.
Or Or Disney Cruise Line.
Or Disney Cruise Line.
Yeah.
Not more hand sanitizer stations have popped up all over both locations. And
Sugar, zero hand sanitizer locations at Disneyland. Zero.
Really? Okay.
I
Well,
saw zero.
apparently they're putting more up as we speak. So, and they've started putting them up at the quick service locations at Disney World. Some cast members are being affected. If a cast member has been to either China or Italy recently, they are being asked to stay home, self-quarantine type of thing. Don't know if that's paid or unpaid for their cast members' sake. I hope it's paid if they're being asked to stay home. Especially I keep thinking of like Adventures by Disney people.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know is the answer to that question. But so those are the only impacts right now that we're seeing here. The Asia parks are still closed and are scheduled to remain closed through March 15th. Disneyland Paris is open. There was some speculation that they may have to close. That has not happened at this time. They are still open. And also, I know some of the Japan hotels are still open. The parks are closed, but the hotels are still operational. So yeah, that's all we know. Yeah, for those of you who are thinking, but what about that case in Florida? Yes, there have been a couple of coronavirus cases in Florida. They are in Tampa as of now. And again, coronavirus, when, you know,
can we take a deep breath on the coronavirus, people?
Please?
I'm going to be blunt about it here. And I understand everybody's afraid and, you know, you have to have a level of comfort in your vacation, but it is a glorified cold. I heard on NPR today that a total of 8 people have died in this country from coronavirus, which is awful and tragic. But there are tens of thousands of people that have already died from the flu. So just perspective. Perspective is all. Go and be cautious and do what you know you're supposed to do. You should wash your hands and you sneeze into your elbow and everything's fine. There's been coronavirus all over California. I live here and I'm not afraid. I just got back from Disneyland. No, there's nothing to worry about. Wash your hands. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Wash your hands, follow common sense protocols. If you weren't concerned about traveling to Walt Disney World prior to coronavirus, the flu already existed at that time. So if you weren't concerned about the flu, probably don't need to be concerned about coronavirus. Yeah. But look, if this, of course, none of this applies if you are immunocompromised for any reason, if you have health conditions and otherwise, you know, if you have a doctor that is telling you don't travel right now, then listen to that medical professional.
Yes.
Yes. But don't listen to Facebook.
Yeah.
The doctors know what they're talking about.
Doctors, CDC.gov, just, you know.
We believe in facts, not fear around here. So get the facts. Make an informed decision, make the decision that is right for you, of course, but just do it based on science and not on questionable journalism. Let's just leave it at that. All right. So that's it for news. Coming up, we're going to be talking about our top 3 takeaways from our recent trips to Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Stay tuned. How can you both just sit there? Aren't you picturing the music in your head? You both just stare at me every week while I boogie. It makes me crazy.
Because I want to count it down so that's the less I have to cut out of the audio.
Well, just tell me how long the audio is, and I'll just pause for that.
3 seconds.
3 seconds. All right. Okay. Perfect. All right.
So this week I'm leaving this in. I'm leaving it in now.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
You have to at this point.
You might as well. Yeah. All right. So, and by the way, if you're not watching us on YouTube, you should be, or at least that's what people tell us. So you can always listen to this podcast on iTunes or, you know, Podbean or, you know, whatever it is that you're listening to us on. But we also do record these and put these on the internet for your amusement so that you can see the funny faces and the weird dance moves and hand gestures that I make all day long. All right, let's get into it. Who wants to start? Let's let Heather start because you and I already know what our trips were like, but we haven't heard anything about Heather's. So let's start with her.
I was exhausted, guys. I think I did like 40,000 steps on Saturday. I was just busy running back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So I guess My first takeaway is with the Food and Wine Festival. It was fantastic as always. It was really good. I think I had something from almost every single booth. I think I missed just one. But my biggest takeaway that Disneyland is starting to advertise now, they didn't in the past, but they're kind of starting to make it known, is that to minimize the lines, especially on the weekends, you can order all of your things at once from one booth. So you go and you find the shortest line, you go through your little passport and say, I ordered 10 things. And I'm like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, paid for it all up front. You get your receipt, and then all you have to do is go whenever you want throughout the day up to each booth, get into the pickup line, and then they'll cross it off on your receipt, hand it back, and you can go. So you don't
That's
have
amazing.
to constantly wait in line.
Game changer.
Right? Epcot, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
But don't forget, this is also a lot smaller of a festival. It lasts a lot less. But then what I happened to notice, so I think I waited like 15 minutes in the first line. Keep in mind, I was there on the first Saturday it was open, so it was way busier than it would be if I was there on a Wednesday. But as the days went on, the actual purchasing lines got smaller and the pickup lines got longer. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Makes sense.
Okay.
But
All right.
I will tell you, that saved me a good 2.5 hours of waiting in line. It was phenomenal.
That is fantastic. Okay. And the Food and Wine Festival in California goes for how long?
It started last weekend, and I want to say it goes to early April. I don't have the exact dates.
So it's only like a month long. Okay.
Yeah, this is not Walt Disney World where we have 5-month festivals a week break and another 5-month festival.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. All right, Sharla, why don't you go next?
Okay. I'm gonna probably take your favorite thing, but
Probably.
the thing that was one of the highlights of my trip that I had no idea it was there was a presentation about the changes coming to Epcot located in the Odyssey Pavilion. That was your favorite. I took it down.
Nope, I actually left it off my list because I knew you were going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we saw a
It's
sign.
called the Epcot Experience.
Yes. So we saw a sign. We just happened to walk by that way, really, because we were trying to avoid the crowds, and you can't really walk through the center of Future World right now. So we saw a sign that said the Epcot Experience, and we said, let's go see what this is. And we ended up staying there for 20 minutes.
I would have stayed there all day.
I know. It was fantastic.
Happily.
So they had a 360 degree screens on the walls, and then they had a 3D model of Epcot with projection mapping on the model based on what they were talking about. So we walked in and they were talking about the new Mary Poppins attraction, and then they talked about the new nighttime show that's coming. Then they highlighted the other things, like when they highlighted the Ratatouille ride, they projection mapped all Paris stuff onto this map, and they turned Spaceship Earth into a ball of cheese. It was so cute. We took some video pictures. We'll try to get posted.
Well, that's been open for a couple months, right? It opened right before the Festival of the Arts started.
I think it's been open around the beginning of the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic, and we just sat there and watched it, and neither of us were willing to say we were ready to leave. And then
we just kept wandering around. Yeah.
And then when we finally saw it cycle through the whole thing, we said, okay, we could go. But it was so good. It was it really made me excited about all the things, especially the Moana water attraction that's coming. Oh my gosh.
She completely forgot what's coming. She was like, I would love to see a Moana thing in Epcot. I was like, I'm pretty sure we're getting one.
Yeah.
And there it was.
So there it was right there. But the projection mapping technology is incredible. And the fact that they were doing it downward onto this 3D model was fantastic. Yeah.
It was so good. It was, I could have spent the whole day there.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
Been perfectly fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I knew you were going to take that one. So I left it off my list. My first one is the Skyliner. I like the Skyliner a lot more than I thought I was going to. Now, I still have a lot of concerns about summer and really windy days and thunderstorms, and I still have a lot of concerns about it. But I do find, on a calm, cool day, I find the ride very enjoyable. Now, There are some rides where it it gets a little, and I'm scared of heights. Let's all keep in mind that I'm very scared of heights. So when you go through the turn center, every once in a while you'll have kind of a bumpy ride on the turn center. Gets a little bit test track there for a minute. And then there are definitely times where we'll be coming into a station and we come in kind of hot. You know? Or you'll turn around and you'll see the next car coming in at you, and it's a little, I clutched my pearls on more than one occasion. Let's just say. Yeah. Clutch my pearl. But overall, I liked it much more than I thought I did. And I would, under the right circumstances, it would be towards the top of my list for transportation options.
Yeah.
See, I feel, and again, I'm not ever going to ride it in the summer. It's just too dangerous to me. But I feel like I don't stay at a resort where that's a viable method of transportation to me. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm at the beach club or the boardwalk. And if I'm not there, I'm probably over, by Magic Kingdom. So it's just not useful for me because it takes me out of the way of everywhere that I want to go. I can walk to Epcot and Hollywood Studios way faster than I can on the Skyliner. So to me, it's just not useful.
Yeah. So it depends how quickly you walk. I mean, it took me less than 5 minutes longer than it would have taken me to walk on the Skyliner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sarah and I did a race one day, and I would have liked to have had a third person there to walk it just to see.
I know. Next time we'll do it. Next time we're all there together, we'll make Heather walk it.
Yeah, I'm a fast walker, so I know that I will come faster than
that. Yeah, but we were surprised at how it was almost the same time for the boat and the Skyliner.
She beat me by about, I think, 3 minutes.
3 or 4 minutes, and I got lucky that a boat was right there when I walked up, and all that stuff.
If you have to wait for the boat, that's the slowest thing on the planet.
Right, and we were questioning it because the Skyliner does not go directly from Epcot. She had
I had to transfer. Mm-hmm.
But we just thought it'd be fun to do. So if you haven't seen that, you could look at our videos that we posted.
It was fun.
But it was a fun experiment, and I did like it a lot more, but I was not disappointed that day that I chose boat instead of Skyliner.
We actually flipped a coin to figure out who did what. So.
And then Sarah got Skyliner. She's like, "Yes, that's the one I wanted." And I said, "You should have just said that."
So, wanted to be fair. All right, Heather, what's your next one?
My next one is the true highlight of my trip, which is the brand new Magic Happens parade. I even texted you. I cannot repeat what I texted because it's foul language. It was phenomenal. It was everything that I hoped that it would be. We desperately needed a new parade here. If you love Festival of Fantasy at Magic Kingdom, I'm going to tell you this is a billion times better. You will love this. It is.
Really? Okay.
It was just. We'll start with the music. It had original music written by one of the American Idol alums, Todrick Hall. I'm not familiar with him because I don't watch.
I know who Todrick Hall is. He wrote the music.
American Idol. Wrote the whole music.
I don't know him from American Idol. I just know him as like Taylor Swift's best friend.
Okay.
And he does these amazing YouTube videos. If you have never seen his version of counting, it's counting stars. But he does counting scars, and it's as a he's a big Disney fan. So yeah.
So he did the whole the new song for the parade, which was so catchy. I mean, people were dancing, like it was phenomenal. And then within that theme song, they managed to work in the songs of the characters that you're seeing on the float. So kind of like what Paint the Night was supposed to be, except that didn't work for some reason. So the music was phenomenal. It's got you up, it's got you dancing, and then as each float comes down the parade route, magic happens. Like something happens to each float, and it was so cool. So like the Moana float, they are using digital screens that make her entire float look like under the water, and there's a wave that comes up here and then a starfish. It was the coolest thing. And then behind her comes Maui, and he's got Pua, and Hey is in a remote controlled little basket that he kind of pops up and pops down and pops up and pops down. And in between each float, Hey was hilarious. And like they have the guy walking along controlling him. But in between each float, they have different dancers. So they had the Polynesian dancers, and then they had kind of like the royal court when the princesses came. The Frozen float, oh my God, so cool. Like snow was going everywhere. The castle was glistening. The Cocoa float was gorgeous with the marigolds. They were all glowing, and then Dante was there, but then he became a spirit animal, and then they had a giant puppet of, gosh, I don't remember her name, but the grandmother, who were her giant spirit animal that's kind of like the panther, the flying panther.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They had people in that as like puppeteers, and it was the coolest thing I have ever seen. But my favorite float, which I knew it was going to be my favorite float, was when the princesses came and Sleeping Beauty was the last one. And they had the 3 fairies on the front, and she's dancing with Prince Philip, and her dress was literally changing color in front of your eyes. I don't know how they created this fabric, but it was like, as she moved, it was pink, and then it was blue, and it was all over. It was on the bodice, it was on the skirt. It was the coolest thing. I could have sat through 25 more minutes of that parade. I felt like it was too short.
Yeah,
that's great.
So totally worth taking time out of your day. And I would say see it twice. See it once during the day and then go back and see it at night. I'm kind of bummed I didn't see it at night, because I feel like you'd be able to see all of the things that light up on the floats a lot better.
Oh, so it's the same parade.
They're doing it twice. I don't know if that'll change as the summer comes on. Maybe they'll bring Paint the Night or the electrical light parade back. I don't know. I don't know if they're just doing it because it's so brand new and they want everybody to see it. But it would be worth seeing it twice just so you can kind of see more of the details.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That sounds amazing. The videos were incredible. So
yeah, it was gorgeous. I'm just so excited they did it the way they said they were going to do. Because Disney, they have this way of talking up, and this is what it's all going to be like. And then as budget happens, it kind of gets pared down. And they didn't do it with this, and it was gorgeous.
Oh, that's great.
That's fantastic.
All right, Sharla, what's next?
Okay, going through all my lists. I have so many things. Okay,
you have to pick 3.
Yeah, I know. I'm picking Rise of the Resistance as my next thing. It was very much, Sara and I kind of had a plan that's what we wanted to do, was ride this attraction. Yep. And it was way more chaotic and way more stressful than either of us thought it was going to be to do it. First of all, getting the boarding pass in the first place. Of course, we happened to be there on a day that the whole system glitched and people at home were able to get boarding passes. But we miraculously got one. Sara got one on her phone. I was also trying, but she got it, so we were good. Then they didn't call us, but we waited around like all day. We did go to Animal Kingdom, but we were just in a holding pattern. And then Disney, we don't exactly know why, but Disney gave us a fast pass to come back the next day. So we got on the fast pass, or we used our fast pass. We got through the first pre-show, we got through the second pre-show, we got to this close to boarding, and they said, sorry, the attraction's down, you have to leave, and if it comes back up, here's another fast pass. So we got in line for Star Tours, and we kept refreshing the app, and we had been waiting for maybe 30 minutes after it went down, and we saw the next number. We said, let's go back. So we went immediately back.
We literally jumped out of line in Star Tours. We were like, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. Just out. Peace
and
out.
we're out. And I was kind of surprised that more people didn't do that, but maybe we were the first ones that were obsessively doing it. And so we go back, and so we had to go through. So if there's anything in the normal queue that we didn't see it, because they gave us these fast passes because we didn't have the regular boarding experience. But so then we go back through the first pre-show and then the second pre-show. We get there, and they did this other thing. I won't spoil it. And then we finally get on the actual ride. And so we did it. But I loved it. I had not watched anything about it. I had not read anything about it on purpose, because I don't like to do that. I like to know I like to not know what I'm getting into until I do it. That's just how I like to experience things for the first time, because, YouTube is out there. There are so many people who will say all this stuff about it, and I just want to experience it myself. So I didn't know anything. and I was jumping and going, ooh, and I was so excited. It
She
was
was
just so
so
fun.
excited. I watched Sharla more than I watched the actual ride, I think, actually. She was so excited.
Yeah, and I'm not the world's biggest Star Wars fan, but I like it fine, and I really liked what they did with it and the story that they told with this ride. It was
More
very,
experience than ride, I would almost say.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
a
the whole thing.
whole like I had a difficult time like wait, is this the ride? Like wait, is this
Yeah,
the ride? Like it's you're not entirely
yeah,
sure.
and
It's a whole thing.
and after we were in the next part, after where we got evacuated, I was like, wait, where are we? What are we? Is this the
Yeah.
whole thing? And I wasn't entirely sure it was even a ride before we got to the ride vehicle. So it was so fun and so cool. I do hope that they change the boarding process. I don't know how. I hope that they do it, because it would have sucked to have waited in a 6 or 7 hour long line. But if that's what they do, then that's what they do. I didn't love that it was just a lottery, but is that the fair way to do it? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but
She's defending herself because every time she said this last week, I said, well, what's the alternative?
yeah. I mean, the alternative is to stand there and wait in line, and
You're right.
which we would have done if we really wanted to, but maybe some of the people would have said, oh, I'm not sitting there waiting 8 hours, but people did get in line for 5 hours at Flight of Passage that day. So, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We went over to Flights of Passage, and Flights of Passage was over 300 minutes. That's 5 hours. Like,
Yeah.
And they didn't get to do anything else. They literally just stood in that line for 5 hours. We left Hollywood Studios. We went to Animal Kingdom. We had lunch at Tusker House. Like we did a variety of other things with our time. But even with that, I felt like the whole trip felt like Rise of the Resistance. Like by the time we left Hollywood Studios for the last time, we were both like, I never want to see Hollywood Studios ever again. Like
Yeah.
I never, like I'm just done.
Yeah. Did you get on it, Heather?
Yeah, I was going to say, can I piggyback and kind of jump the line, because my next thing was going to be about Rise of the Resistance too. And we had pretty much the same experience, except unlike you, I didn't leave going, oh my God, that was the most amazing thing. Like to me, the whole experience, and Justin, who is a Star Wars fan, even before I said anything, we got off the ride and he turned to me and went, that was cool, but I mean, I didn't need to do that again. So our experience was the same. It was incredibly chaotic. Thankfully, Disneyland's a lot smaller, but part of that 40,000 steps I did on Saturday was because of Rise of the Resistance. So we went in on Saturday and we were lucky enough to have extra magic hours that day, which I cannot, if you are going to Disneyland and your goal is to get on Rise of the Resistance, you better be staying at one of the 3 Disney hotel resorts, and you better make it on a day that you are there on extra magic hours, because we walked out of the Grand Californian at 6:45 and the line to get into the park for regular guests was back down past the Grand Californian into downtown Disney.
Oh my gosh.
They're not opening that line until about 10 minutes before 8 a.m., which was regular park opening. Alternatively, I got in line at 6:50. They opened the gates for extra magic hour guests at 6:55. We went on Space Mountain with no wait. We rode Toad. We rode Alice in Wonderland. And then we had 10 minutes to kind of stake out a spot to be able to get our boarding passes. So we've now already ridden 3 attractions. All nervous. Oh my gosh, okay, where are we going to go? Because you don't want to be by the crowds, because you have to make sure you have good cell phone service. Do not be on the Wi-Fi, blah, blah, blah. We get up. Justin's phone was taking too long. I was the one that wound up getting us the boarding passes. And it was really cute. I don't know if it happened by you guys too, but I'm sure it did. But like once everybody, like, 30 seconds after 8 a.m., everybody got their boarding passes. You hear people like, yes, like all this cheering going on.
We didn't hear a lot of that because, again, we were there the day that the whole system glitched and nobody got boarding passes. So, yeah.
So, everybody cheered. I actually heard it the next day on Sunday too. I was having like a lazy morning in the hotel, and I was sitting on the balcony, and people had went into the park and came back out, and we're doing it from downtown Disney, and everybody's screaming and downstairs. So, but anyway, so we get our boarding pass. We're number 67, and we're like, okay, cool. Let's go next door. Time to do DCA, and they were flying through the boarding passes like bam, bam, bam. Like by I want to say 11:30, they were at 64. They were at 60, and we're like, okay, let's get, we were doing food and wine. We're like, let's pick up one last thing, head over to Disneyland. So we grab our last thing. It climbs up to 64. We get to Galaxy's Edge. and it's just not moving. It's not moving. And I'm like, I'm really hungry. Like, I was having blood sugar issues. So we got a Rontolis roaster, which again is phenomenal. Still nothing. Hour and a half. We're like, what do we do? We're kind of just wandering around Disneyland. Like, we didn't want to get a fast pass because we were planning on being over in DCA. And what happens if this thing comes up? We had reservations at 1:30 for a mixology class for Food and Wine Festival. And we're like, okay, well, we have to leave here by like 1:00 anyway. Let's kind of like wait it out. By 12:40, it still hadn't moved. We're talking to the cast members, and they're like, once that number starts moving again, like, no, I want an answer. When I need to know how long you expect this to be down. Like, that's not cool if guests are coming up to you, and asking, like, I felt like my entire day was kind of held hostage by Rise of the Resistance. When you have a fast pass at Disney World, they push you a notification, whether it's a text message, it's on the phone, they send you an email saying, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is down. You can use your fast pass for this, or you can try to come back later. Like, they let you know. And there was no notification. When you asked people, they didn't want to tell you anything. So finally around quarter of, we're like, you know what? It's not coming back up. Let's just head back to DCA. Let's get a little bit more food. We'll go to our thing. If we have to dash out of our mixology early, then that's fine. We get back to DCA, literally picked up our next like little appetizer, and I go, it's up to 65. And we're like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. So now I had to go to my mixology class and beg them, like, please, if you have any openings for the class later tonight, can I please move it? Luckily, I was in the right place at the right time, where one of the cast member who is kind of in charge of this happened to be there, and she never is. So she like took 10 minutes, fixed everything on the computer, so we now had a mixology class for the evening. Nice. Great. Now the numbers are moving so fast that we had to sprint from DCA all the way across into Disneyland, the back of the park to Galaxy's Edge. We made it with it was now from 67 to 77. And we almost missed our boarding pass. Get in line, you wait 30 minutes, you go on it, and I thought the ride was really cool. I don't think it was worth that effort, or for my entire day to be held hostage. Like, I can promise you, I'm not riding that ride again until they go to a fast pass system. Like, to me, it's just not worth it. And Justin said the same thing, and he said it before I even said anything. He goes, like, that's pretty cool. And I liked the part where, there's like, the Imperial walkers and you felt really small. And I said, it's funny that you say that, because like the things that he was pointing out are things that Disney has done for years in other attractions at the overseas parks. And I've just been really lucky enough to get to them and see them. So I think the big draw here is that they haven't had these technologies in the US parks, but they've been doing them for years in the Asia and European parks. And so nobody's seen them. But I think they do them better in the Asia parks. I'm sorry. This technology that everybody's going over, like the Pirates of the Caribbean in Shanghai, is like 1 billion times better, and they do it on water. So I don't send your hate comments to me. I don't think it's worth it.
Well, I mean, Sarah and I both said that as much as I loved it, is it worth all that effort? Probably not. No. And Sarah said, I won't do this again unless I bring my family one time and they want to do it. But like,
I told Sean he gets one chance.
Yeah.
And I mean, your point, what's the solution? Well, just do it like every other ride. You either have to get fast passes or you wait in the line, like this boarding pass thing. And then you don't even get right on the ride. You have to wait. Like that to me is not worth it.
And I don't know that it was, like, maybe they should just not have fast passes, maybe they should just, because that slows down the line. So we were lucky that they gave us that one, and that I believe that they should have given us a fast pass since we got so far and then they had to evacuate us. I absolutely think that was the right thing to do. But that's a special case scenario. So sure, let those people go. But for all of the effort that we put into it, it was stressful, and
it hijacked the whole trip.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if we had just been able to do it the first day, it still would have hijacked that day. But if, then we wouldn't have had to worry about all this other stuff. And then maybe we'd have gotten sunk on the Jungle Cruise. But we didn't. So,
I mean, it does. It hijacks your entire trip, your entire day. And like, it was even to the point where like well, should we get a fast pass for Incredicoaster? And Justin's like, no, I'm so sick of being locked into having a time to do things.
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to be able to relax and like, if I feel like waiting in a line, I'll wait in a line. And I was like, I feel the exact same way. Like it just exhausted you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm very glad that I did it. I thought it was very cool. And all of that. But as much as I loved it, going through that effort again is too much. I don't want to do it. And I hope that they just go back to a regular line and then I can decide, do I want to wait 5 hours? Because when we got the boarding group, we had no idea. Would it take 3 hours? Would it take 5 hours? Would it take 7 hours? We had no idea.
No.
At least the posted wait times.
Yeah, you know how long you're going to be there and if you have a thing to do. Also, I don't know if this is the case in Florida, but like the line out here, it is the most boring line ever with like all the effort that Disney's going through with like, making the queues interactive now and kind of keeping you entertained. Like I was in a cave for 30 minutes. There was nothing to do. There was nothing to look at until you got to like the little pre-show spiel thing. And I'm like, thank God there's service in here. At least I can play on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the line is actually like since we didn't get to go in the regular line. So
Yeah. All right. So
your turn.
Back to our top 3 things.
Hey, to be fair, that was part of my top 3. I just piggybacked because it didn't make sense to go to something else.
All right, then you're done. No, just kidding. All right. So my number 2 takeaway was how much I love the Boardwalk Resort. The Beach Club is still my favorite, but Boardwalk's really high up there. Like it's so peaceful and which sounds weird because it's the boardwalk and there's all this stuff going on in the boardwalk, but the resort itself is just really just lovely. And I loved the club lounge. Maybe even a little more than the beach club. I might have loved the club lounge a little more. They had actual chefs there every night cooking like full-on entrees, which the beach club never had. I mean, they had a lot of food, but they had actual chefs cooking food every night, which was amazing. They also had more offerings for the cordials. Normally the cordials, it's like Bailey's or Kahlua or whatever. This had vodka, this had whiskey, this had, was like a full thing.
Full bar.
So
Yeah.
for me, that's fantastic. I can't partake in the beer and the wine, so having a little vodka to add to my lemonade was fantastic.
Yeah, the food there was unbelievable. They brought out a little bitty popcorn popper and popcorn right there.
Popcorn. Yeah. I
Your
love
pops and everything. It was great.
Yeah, I love the location. It's perfect to Hollywood Studios, really easy, Epcot, it's like right in the middle there to the 2 different things. I liked having the access to the Skyliner. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I love, of course, Ample Hills. Being that close to Ample Hills is just a fantastic thing. I managed to only go there one time, so that was great restraint on my part, I think.
I live by an Ample Hills now, and it's like a struggle to not just like, I'm just gonna pop over for some ice cream today.
Yeah.
So my number 2 was the boardwalk. I just remember it had been almost 10 years since I had stayed there. So it was the room decor was still the same though. They need to update those rooms.
Yeah.
See, we were just there in November in the villa side, and I really like the decor over there. So I don't
it's different.
It is. So they didn't update the hotel side.
The villa side had no carpet and all of that. The regular rooms, there's still the carpet, still the old. Yeah, it was
Still
not updated.
Still the old
Save
decor.
the carpet. Leave the carpet.
But
leave that part. That's fine. Yeah.
But we did get a room with a huge balcony, and that was awesome too.
It was massive. It was fantastic.
Of course, we didn't sit out there very much, but a little bit we did. I mean,
yeah. So great.
Yeah, it was very good.
All right. So Heather, you did your number 3 already, right? Was it Rise of the Resistance? Anything else? Do you want a bonus?
What did I really love I spent some time at the Craftsman Bar and Grill at the Grand Californian. And I hadn't spent time there at night. I usually just grab breakfast and go, but that was fantastic. They bring in live music and the food is great. And there's, TVs for whatever sports are on. Also, I learned a new thing that I swear I didn't know. But if you go to the Craftsman Bar and Grill, like the actual inside counter service location, from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m., they do complimentary coffee for resort guests.
Oh,
Interesting. Okay.
I was very excited when I learned that. I think Justin was more excited, but yes, so there you have it. That's my bonus. Free
All right.
coffee, everyone.
All right. Charlotte, how about you? What was your number 3?
I think my number 3 was the new film at Epcot, The Amazing Earth. So that's what it's called, right?
Oh,
Amazing
yeah.
Earth. Awesome Earth.
Awesome Planet.
Yeah.
Awesome Planet. It's
Yeah,
called.
something like that. But
Close.
it's so it took the place of the Circle of Life show in the Land Pavilion that anyway, it's kind of like, so Ty Burrell narrates it. It's kind of like he's a real estate agent trying to sell you on planet Earth and why you should come here. We've got all these biomes and all this life and all this and the different areas, and it's very, very cool. It was, pretty short, 7-8 minutes long, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, we liked it.
Yeah.
Did you see the new Canada movie?
We did.
And
it was fine.
Is it not better than Martin Short?
I wanted it. Well, it's Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara. And I wanted it to be funny, and it's
not funny.
It's not funny.
I loved the last one that they had with Martin Short, and I feel like it's not that old, right?
Right.
They didn't do that one that long ago, so. Whatever.
I enjoyed it as a person who is now apparently prone to motion sickness. This has happened in my adult years. I did not like a lot of the flyovers that they did and some of the things like that. I had to close my eyes and not watch it.
She had her eyes closed for half of the China and the Canada movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I mean, I tried. I really did. I kept looking up. Are they still zooming? Yes, I have.
Yeah,
that's
true.
yeah. But yeah, I kind of wanted the Canada one to be funny, and it wasn't funny. They just narrated it, and it was nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. They kept the song from the previous one, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was fine.
But I really liked Awesome Planet. It was definitely different from the Circle of Life one that they had, and there were quite a few people going in and out of there, so I liked that too because I like anything that's gonna be popular. But it's new, but I think it'll hold up for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bring back Kitchen Cabaret.
Now you're going way back.
They did not have the veggie fruit booth this year at the Food and Wine Festival in California, and I was so disappointed because that was just a cute little inside joke that they had last year. It was fun.
I do have a bonus. Is that I watched the Happily Ever After fireworks from the park for the first time, and I really loved them. They're not wishes. Nothing will be wishes. But I really enjoyed, I mean, again, projection mapping. Anything projection mapping is fantastic. And I really, really liked it.
So my number 3 takeaway was that I am old. I'm old. That was my takeaway. We, like you, Heather, we were very busy. We were fairly nonstop. And I'm old and exhausted.
You sound like Justin. He woke up on Monday or yesterday, and he was like, "My knees hurt. I can't do that anymore."
Yeah, I'm fine. I survived. But I got a blister, and oh my God, the blister packs, life-changing. Like I literally woke up on like day 3 and was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to take another step. And I slapped that blister pack on, and we went the whole day, so it was fine. But yeah, everybody knows that I love a do less, enjoy more kind of trip. And this trip was not that. And it was not intended to be that. And that's fine because it was a working trip. But I just found like, I don't know, I'm getting a little bit like, hey, kids, get off my lawn. Like I'm annoyed, I don't travel with little kids anymore, and I don't mind little kids, but I found myself occasionally sort of feeling less than magical about the way other people were allowing their children to behave. And, I definitely, there was, I'm not even talking. That's not even what I was talking about. I know what Sharla's talking about. I was laughing at because there was this family in front of us. Sweet little family. They had 2 little kids. There's a little girl of about 4 and a little boy who was maybe a little less than 2, I'm going to say. And it was very clear that they were just done with each other. Like the whole family, like they were just done. And mom and dad weren't really paying much attention. And so the little girl says to the little brother, Liam, lie down on the ground. And he's looking at her like, what? And she's like, lie down on the ground, lie down. And so he does it because it's right now, lie down right now. And so he does it because it's his big sister telling him what to do. And she immediately grabs the father and goes, Dad, Liam is lying on the ground. And he, right?
What a little brat.
And the father starts yelling at Liam. And I was like, oh no, sir. Oh no.
Oh,
she
good.
made
Because
him do that.
I would have stepped in too.
Yeah. I was like, oh no.
Rat.
Yeah. So part of
and
us
Sharla
like,
thought it was hilarious.
I did. Because I'm like, what a little turd, but that's hilarious.
Yeah. And I was all like, hashtag justice for Liam. Like,
that's so funny.
Yeah. But anyway, it wasn't even that, but like at Happily Ever After, for example, I will always leave a gap in front of me for children or people that are shorter than me, like Sharla, or, like I'm tall, I can see from wherever. But like there was a family in front of us and they had a spot right on the railing, which was great. And they had little kids, which was fantastic. But then somebody from behind us had a little kid, and the little kid, they just pushed that kid like right in front of us, which again is fine. I can see over the kid, but they like shoved that kid in with this other family. And you could see the family being like,
who are you?
Where did this child come from?
Can I say that is as an adult with no children, that is my biggest pet peeve that people with children do. I'm like you. I am short, but I can see over a child. So if you want to say, excuse me, can he come up here? Yeah, of course. I don't care. But when people assume that their children have more of a right to the front row spot that I've been waiting an hour for, it infuriates me to no end. If you ask me politely, will gladly offer my space to your child, but don't assume that because I am an adult with no children that you deserve to be pushed in front of me. I hate it.
No,
that's like that. That's like people are entitled, like that lady a few months ago that went berserk over the pretzel.
Oh, the pretzel.
Yeah, things happen, but I mean,
I saw somebody with a T-shirt that said, "I'm here for my pretzel, Karen."
Nice. But I mean, that between the pushing and that guy who was smoking right there, right next to us in the park.
That's my other thing.
Crazy.
Yes, there was so much smoking and vaping in the parks, and I'm trying hard not to judge you if you smoke or vape. I'm trying very hard. I'm not succeeding. I'm trying very hard, but whatever, free will. However, Disney parks they are smoke free. I don't care if it's vaping. I don't care if it's cigarettes, but we saw people just standing in line with cigarettes in their hand, like while waiting for Happily Ever After. Like, no.
See, and that's where the cast members, and there's not enough of them to be able to do this, but they need to be going up to these people and saying, no, sorry, you have to put that out because I don't care what your hobbies are. If you want to vape, you want to smoke, that's fine. But it's proven that it is deadly and it causes cancer. And I don't do that. So I don't want to be caught up in your hobby, your habit.
Right. Yeah.
So
I don't and more importantly, Disney's on my side.
I just, you know what, if you want to go and smoke your cigarettes and potentially get lung cancer, that's fine. You do you and you do what you want. But unfortunately, your habit it disperses. It's not contained in your own little bubble. And I shouldn't have to suffer because you feel that you should be smoking in a place that it's against the rules to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I definitely felt like they were taking advantage of the fact that we're already crammed in. The show's about to start. They know nobody's going to go get a cast member. They know nobody's going to, and and again, I thought would this have bothered me 10 years ago? I don't know, maybe, but it bothers me now at 45. It bothers me,
The smoking thing has always bothered me.
Yeah.
Super sensitive to it. Just go to your little corner and smoke over there.
Yeah. So I'm not a person who's ever going to rat somebody out to a cast member. I'm not a person. I did rat that little girl out to her father. Yeah. That's different. That was justice.
Did that happen to you as a child? Like your sister would do that to you?
No, I'm an older sister. No, I'm an older sibling. But let's just say that I looked at Sharla at one point and went, and that's why I have one child. That right there. That scenario. Yeah.
I am older than my brother, but he would have totally done that.
I was going to say, my sister is younger than me and 100% did that all the time, which is why I don't like that little girl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I was furious on Lee's behalf. So yeah. But anyway, so that was my takeaway, is that I'm old and I'm tired and I don't have the stamina or the patience that I used to, and that's okay. that's okay. That's just the reality of things. But I definitely found myself really frustrated that we were there for 3 days and a full day and a half was hijacked by Rise of the Resistance. You know,
Oh, I threw a fit. I mean, not like a full on fit, but at the end of the parade, Justin's like, "Do you want to go back over to DCA and get the rest of our list?" I go, "I need to go to the room and sit down and do nothing." Because at this point it was like 3:45 and I had been going nonstop. I'm like, "I want to get myself a glass of wine, sit on the balcony and not move for 30
Yeah.
minutes." He's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, let's go."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right,
Awesome.
that's our takeaway. So those were our top 3 takeaways from our trips. Coming up next on the Disney Park Princess Patreon Extra. What?
I just want to say thank you to everybody who came to our meetup.
Oh, yes.
It was awesome.
Almost forgot.
And yeah, we had a nice time. And Grand Destino Tower and that Dahlia Lounge, they are gorgeous. But we had a really fun time with everybody and meeting everybody. So that was really awesome.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. We had a great turnout. It was a lot of fun. So, and it was raining, so everybody came out in the rain, and that was, so it was really, really nice to get to meet everybody. We had a good time, and oh my gosh, we loved Grand Destino.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty. So that's what we're going to be talking about on the Patreon Extra. Is we're going to be giving a little more details about our trips and some of the fun stuff that we did. Sharla and I got to see the Riviera Resort. We got to see Grand Destino. We got to see a few other things. And so we're going to be going a little more into detail, not a lot because it's just a short extra, but a little more detail on the Patreon Extra about some of the things. And possibly some of we might get slightly more judgmental in the extra because that happens. We tend to be a little less filtered in the extra. So if you are a Patreon supporter, you can find it in the same place that you always find it, on the Patreon page, or your RSS feed, or on YouTube. But if you are not a Patreon supporter and don't know what we're talking about, maybe you're new to the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Disney Park Princess. It's one of the ways that we help fund this podcast and this website is through supporters like you. It's what pays for equipment like this and equipment like Heather and Sharla are using, as well as web hosting fees and podcast hosting fees and all of the fees. So you can help support us that way. Other ways that you can help support us are review this podcast on iTunes, share this podcast, join our Disney Park Princess Facebook group, visit our blog, go to DisneyParkPrincess.com. These things are all free to do, and also help support us. You can shop through our Amazon affiliate links on our website. You can do all kinds of stuff that are of no cost to you whatsoever, but really, really help us out. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your support. We'll be back next week. We're actually going to be pre-recording next week's podcast because Sharla, as she mentioned, is going on a Disney cruise. So we'll be pre-recording this. But as far as you guys are concerned, for us, it'll be tomorrow. For you guys, it'll be next week. We're going to be talking about the Disney dining plan, explaining the now 4 different Disney dining plans and how to get the most out of them if you do choose to use one for your trip. So that's it. Thanks so much, guys.
Bye.
We'll talk to you next week.